What's up? I'm Omani Najee, and welcome to the SEER site, a site for seers. Just sit back, relax, and let's see. Welcome, my beloveds, back to the SEER site podcast. I am Omani Najee, your host. And in today's episode, Spirit Guides. Your spirit guides. You as a spirit guide. And so we are going to wade into the pool of reflections that is the spirit world. The place where spirit meets matter and where our guides and our sages and the luminous peeps assist in our lives and our journey. We're going to explore who they are, how they show up, the roles they play, the roles you play, and our self-remembrance and the reflections between us and the spirit world. And so if you listen to other episodes, remember this phrase: as above, so below, as within, so without. This is the code I've been given to understanding the spirit world in this tangible or 3D world. Now, I say 3D world, I am going to call this life experience the 3D experience, simply so that you understand the different dimensions of the spirit world. And there are various dimensions. So imagine a pool, just a pool of water. And above the pool is the sky. And that sky is reflecting in that pool. This is a very quick and easy analogy of the spirit world. As above, so below, as within, so without. So the spirit world and the physical world aren't necessarily two separate realities or two separate places, but they're kind of like mirrors that are side by side. And what we call spirit guides are the emanations from that field, that upper field, that project into this 3D experience. And so I have to be very blunt with you about this. The way the spirit world comes to me lately is I have this crowd behind me. Just, kind of like at the racetracks. I used to run track in high school, and they're just like at the racetracks ready to just set off. And they're not all my spirit guides. They are our spirit guides. And basically the impression they give me is they're just waiting for you to say like, I need help, or show me this or show me that. This is their role. And a lot of us have simply not enlisted their assistance, though they're waiting. And so to present this, I went into some deep meditation and prayer and asked Spirit World, how do you want me to present this phenomena to people, this experience, so that it's easily understood? And so the pool analogy, the reflection of the pool, as above, so below, as within, so without. Now, the spirit world is not limited to the intangible. Remember, it's an onion, and so it is multidimensional. And that in itself is a whole nother conversation. But the spirit world does have substance. And in trying to describe it to you, I asked my spirit guides and the spirit people how to best express these reflections to us. And in all honesty, I am not a genius. I ain't a dummy. I don't have a college degree or anything. I am not a fool. but I'm not going to say that I am some genius or anything. So when it comes to math and science and things like that, they aren't my purview. However, in discussing this with the spirit world peeps, they came through with science as the best way to explain this. And so the best way for me to explain the spirit world is to first help you identify yourself. And the spirit people gave me the metaphor of the prism. And so we are bio-celestial beings. Celestial from our other side, bio from this 3D experience. What you see is your avatar. And so the best way to explain it is with the prism scenario. You have light that goes through a prism that then refracts light. And so if we look at ourselves as spirit, soul, and body, and I'm going to keep it as basic as possible. I am going to use spirit, soul, and body, and this makes up our entire makeup on this plane. So, spirit being the source, that source we spoke about in last episode. It is light, that pure consciousness. That is the light, the purity of all things behind everything. Your soul is a body, a celestial body that light resides in, and that light resides in every soul. The only difference is the prism, the form that your soul has taken on. And when I say form, I don't mean, shapes and things like that, but the dimension into which it can accept and reflect or deflect light. So that's your spirit. That is a light behind all of us. And then our soul is our spirit body, our prism. And then these bodies, these physical bodies, they are the 3D reflection or dispersion of that light. So basically, spirit is the sunlight, the soul is the prism, and the body is the rainbow that appears on the wall as reflection. And this is the spirit world and how we are of, in, about the spirit world and all that we do. And your prism, that soul or that celestial body, determines how much light or consciousness is dispersed. The strength of your prism is what's projected in auras. Some people see auras in certain different ways. The colors that are reflected from your prism. And for me, this is how I determine old souls, young souls, and things like that. And there's a whole dichotomy behind that I may have to bring in another episode. But reading people's souls or their light or their auras in this aspect helps me to determine old souls, young souls, experienced souls, inexperienced souls, and things like that. And it's all basically due to the dispersion of light from that person's prism. And so the whole goal, work on your prism. Just work on your prism. It is up to you how much light or consciousness you allow within yourself to then reflect on this experience. And it's really that simple. And these are the analogies that Spirit World gives me. I had to actually look up what prism stuff was because I really hadn't understood it. I wasn't that great in school, but this is how they gave it to me. And so, I asked, so then explain this experience. What's the best way to understand this experience? And what was given to me was a school system scenario. Imagine our school system. We've all had to go to school. And, we go to school, we have certain grades, and we get graded on certain things. We have certain subjects. And at some point, We have recesses and lunch breaks and vacations and things like that. Well, this is how it is in the spirit world. The spirit world is basically the educational hub of the soul. Well, earth and life, the experience of life, this 3D experience, initially was a field trip, a vacation, a recess. This was our Eden, our paradise. But then we got into the stupidity of this king of the hill mindset. And souls saying, well, this part of the playground is mine. And others saying, this part of the playground is mine. This is my territory and this is my hood. And that's me battle aquí, things like that. And we got into this king of the hill mindset, this separation mindset of rules and monarchy and charging people for the life experience. And so what Spirit decided to do was say, okay, hold up. They have forgotten how to share. So Earth became our educational system, our school, because we forgot our initial curriculum of how to share. And so in this scenario, there are different grades, different levels, different subjects, and it all has to do with the main graduation point is compassion. And we're going to get into that, the purpose for, or at least part of the purpose for our lives. And so then I asked, okay, so then if that is the way it is, and with these different grades and you can graduate or you can fail, and this is where karma and dharma start to play in, and we'll get into those in the other episodes. So I asked, how does this play out in this 3D experience? And how can I explain it? And so they gave me this video game scenario, i.e., playing the game of life. And so if you've ever played a video game, you have the console, you have the game itself, you have the controller, you have the characters, the type of game it is, and the levels in the game and things like that. And so from the view of the spirit world, the console, it is this earth, this 3D vibration that we're in. Life. The game is our earthly experiences, our game of life. The controller that holds the controls is your soul. Your soul. And this is the mystery behind free will. Nobody's making you do shit. So this thing of the devil made me do it, God made me do it, and all that's bullshit. You choose what you do. You hold the control. And the controls are the light that is placed into you and how you reflect it here in this experience. You are the controller. You are the character. That is what your character's role is to reflect the lights of that prism. And again, you determine, for the most part, how much light comes through you. And then the gameplay is the dispersion of that light, your free will, how you disperse it, how you play it. But remember this is where the reap what you sow, whether good or bad mentality or karmic debts or blessings come from, how you, under your free will, play the game. You reap what you sow. But also know this. When I used to play video games, I used to use cheat codes because I kept getting killed all the time. We have cheat codes in this experience, in this game of life. You have prayers, mantras, incantations. These are your ways of opening up portals to play this game. And this whole game is about leveling up, and these things assist you in leveling up. And then you have what's called God mode. This is what it's called in the gaming world, or infinite lives. This is reincarnation, because Some of us are more hard-headed than others. I'm very hard-headed, in which I've had to live in numerous lives, and I have memories of a lot of these lives. But we have God mode. And, after this experience, if you so choose, you come back to gain in that experience, or if you failed that grade or that experience, you repeat that experience along with any other karmic debt that you need to repeat. And so our whole thing is just a school system. The biggest cheat code that they told me to beat the game, and it was shocking: service to others. 3 words to beat the entire game: service to others. I think it was Muhammad Ali who said, service to others is the currency that we pay in this experience. It is the quickest washing of one's karma. Service to others. It's the biggest cheat code. Service to others. But we also have our sages and our seers and our medicine folks and our oracles and things like that. People in the game that hold up light posts to help us down certain paths in that game. But then also, like in video games, you have your NPCs, your non-playable characters, or your sidekicks. These would be your spirit guides from the other side that assist us in this experience. And they come in varying forms, varying levels, varying abilities, specialties, weapons, and things like that. And they'll assist from subtle hints to full-on assistance. So then I asked my spirit guides, what is the purpose though? What is the meaning of this? What is the entire purpose of this experience? What is the curriculum of this education? And in a word, compassion. Compassion through our passions. Go figure. And the ultimate goal, it seems, is for our passion to become compassion. For compassion to be our passion. Do unto others. And so they were like, get back to sharing the playground. Get back to sharing this communal playground. Nobody owns the earth. It doesn't belong to anybody. You didn't bring shit with you. You're not taking shit with you, except for your experiences, which is also what you bring with you. And it's to beat the big boss. Beat the big boss. Who's the big boss? Your ego. Our egos. But to do that, we have to get through all these blinding agents and these systems of separation. This separation that has been forced, reinforced, and enforced by systems, man-made systems, ideologies, dogmas, religions, our educational system, our current educational system. All these are blinding agents, for the most part, that separate us. And the whole goal, the whole purpose is through our passions, through our ego, through all this separation, compassion for one another. And all these things have the ability to block our remembrance and clear contact with the other side. Our curriculum is to move from the identification with the actor, your story, and recognize the light behind it all. Because in the end, none of this shit means anything except for the experiences we take back with us. And there's a reason for that. And these analogies just remind us that the spirit world isn't only about us receiving here, but returning there different, with a different experience, with a lot more experience. And so with that come our spirit guides. And I would like to share the roles and forms that they've come in my life. Remember, it takes a village. And so when I say we have spirit guides and the different kinds of spirit guides, I will attest to say we have many. Some may have more than others. And that could be because of someone's role or their purpose or their need. Like in the medical field, depending on your medical situation, you will need more care than others. Same scenario from the spirit world. And so let's talk about these spirit helpers and why they're here. Overall, to the point, their goal is to help us level up. Nothing more, nothing less. Help us level up. But level up to what and why? To understand that, let me explain the spirit guides to you so then you can understand your purpose. So first we have the ancestral spirit guides. And as it says, these are your relatives, your family members, your physical bloodlines, but also your soul streams. This would be your spirit family. Not everybody who is in your physical family is of the same vibrational aura as your spirit family, as your spirit or your soul stream. Our soul has these streams like the colors of the prism. We swim in these streams. And not everybody swims in the same streams. And so these would be your ancestral guides, lineage things you carry through. On the flip side of that, you will eventually become an ancestral guide. We all are. It's not like once we're in the spirit world, we just kick it until the next experience. We have our duties over there from the experiences we have gathered here. We'll get to that. Then you have your guardian spirits. These would be like your overall attendant, life manager, your delegate, your aide. And they typically accompany you from birth from start to finish. That is, for the most part, what your guardian spirit is. That guardian that's just always with you, aiding you. These, I would put their energy, their reflection as like the parental type of energy. You got your ancestors, but then you have those, that spirit that acts as a parental type figure. Not to raise you, but don't, give you subtle hints, go here, go there, whoop. Then you have your guiding spirits. These are your teachers, sages, and things like that. And they basically remind us of our tether to the source of all things. So that would be the guardian, guiding spirit, guiding you back to the light. My mom used to watch a soap opera called The Guiding Light. And that's basically what your guiding spirits are. In the 3D realm, we have teachers, trainers, therapists, sages, your barber, your bartender. These are the kind of souls that are training here for their roles as guardian spirits. As above, so below, as within, so without. And this crosses all spectrums. What you are doing here is gaining experiences for your role there. This is temporal. That's permanent. And we're all going through this evolution of the soul. The way to do that is to alchemize in this experience. So you have your guiding spirits and you have your protectors. They're, the warrior type that protect you from, they're the fighters, the warriors that, and their primary goal is justice. Justice for you, protection for you. And on the flip side, in the 3D experience, I would liken those souls to the ones who become firefighters, military, law enforcement, protesters that are out there fighting for people's rights, judges, attorneys, those who are advocates for the most part, that are hardcore, I'm coming at you, advocates. This is their 3D experience for what they may be on the other side as protected guardian spirits. Then you have healers, healing spirits. They're the ones that repair and help to mend and repair the mind, the body, things like that, the inner work. They guide you into the inner work. And then you have your sages and your ancient ones. You know, some of those sages and ancient ones are born in corporal bodies that came simply to help others, help remind others where we're from, where we're going to, what we are. And then those that don't incarnate, those energies don't incarnate, come through the seers or the channelers or the oracles. That's what the seer is. They are the oracles. We are the oracles, or we are the prism that particular ray of light expresses through, like I'm telling you from the spirit world right now. And here's how I have seen this play out in my life. I am 19, 20 years old. My brother is going through I think this is homecoming, and he plays on the football team. And I am the designated driver that night for he and all his homies. Now, at this time in my life, my girlfriend is pregnant. I have a dead-end job. And I am a knucklehead. I am a street-minded knucklehead. Now, although I never claimed Crip or Blood, I always hung around, for the most part, Crips or homeboys, essays and shit like that. And so after this football game, we decided to go do a little bit cruising down the boulevard in National City, California on this Friday night before going to an after party. And I say that to say this is the type of knucklehead I was. I remember we're all in the car, banging our music, driving down the street. We pull into a McDonald's so we could make the turn to come back. And I remember this OG was kind of mad dogging us all in the car. And I kind of stopped. I'm like, we owe you money, homie. So I was that kind of knucklehead. I didn't look for fights, but I didn't back down from them either. So after that, we're heading to this party. At the party, they set it off. And before going to the homecoming game, we did a beer rip at one of the stores. I went in, stole some beers and a 2-liter of Seagram's wine coolers. And so that's what I donated to the party. And so I remember I'm drinking my Seagram's wine cooler, the big, I think it was 2-liter, and I'm drinking it out the bottle. And by this time, I'm getting pretty faded. I'm 136 pounds soaking wet with bricks in my pocket at the age of 19. Well, as I'm talking to some people, this group of dudes come through, all dressed in blue, Mexican dudes, essays and shit. And I've never had a problem with racism in gangs because I hung out with most everybody, except the Woods, of course. And so they come through, they go and get their drinks and everybody, and somebody explains to me who all these dudes are. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, and whatever. So as they're leaving, I'm like, hey, yo, what's up? Trying to keep it cool and shit. And one of the dudes looked at me some kind of way that I felt disrespected. So I said something to him. Make a long story short, we're outside the house right now in the street because I've challenged this whole gang. Fuck all y'all. I was trying to be cool with you, but you came at me wrong. So we go from inside the house to the street, and I'm like, what's up and everything. And this dude then pulls out this gun, chrome plated, just silver gun, and points it at my head. And it's about 6 inches from my head. And all I remember is the barrel of the gun and the guy's eyes, the eyes of the guy who was pointing at me. I didn't really see his face. It was like gun, eyes, gun, eyes. And me being the hard head I was at the time, I was like, let's do it, homie. Let's do this. You know, you want to squeeze it or you can put it down. We can go at it. And so I remember I looked from the barrel of the gun at his eyes at one point, and I felt this fear. By this time, the whole gang has made kind of a U-shape around me, a large one, so I couldn't go anywhere. So there was nobody standing beside me. And all the other party goers are behind, crowded behind these gang members. And because this is my brother's school, and most of the people are from my brother's school, they didn't know me, but they knew all these gangsters. And so they're outside, and this dude's got this piece just pointing at my head, and here I am challenging him when I see this fear. And so he puts the gun down, and my brother and his friends are like, hey, he might be drunk and everything, chill on him and everything. And they grab me, get me in the car. And I remember at that point, I'm thinking, why, I was crying. I was pissed because I was like, I'm coming back with the homies at first, but once I got in the car, I was crying like, why am I like this? Why do I just not give a fuck? I get a pregnant girlfriend. Why do I not give a fuck? That very night changed my life in a way I had not realized at that point. Long story short, within the next 2.5 years, I get through the academy. I'm a deputy. I'm working at the downtown jail on the 4th floor. And my brother calls me on a Saturday. Hey, can I come and take a tour? I'm like, yeah, no problem. And I've been working on this floor for a couple weeks at this time. So when my brother gets there, I go down, I meet him, and I tell him the rules. I'll take you around, but you can't talk to anybody. Don't mad dog anybody, things like this. We get up to the 4th floor, and we start at 4A, B, and C on one side. We're coming around to the other side. When we get by 4E, all the guys are in there watching TV, and my brother yells out, hey, why'd you shoot my brother when you had the chance? And I immediately was about to say, you ain't supposed to be talking to nobody, when it hit me what he said. And I'm like, what? And so he's looking at a dude, and he says it again, louder, kind of laughing like it was a joke. Why'd you shoot my brother when you had the chance? So at this point, the guy he's talking to walks over to the bars. Whoever is closest to the TV turns the TV down. They're like, what? And somebody yells out to this guy, you tried to shoot a deputy? And this guy tells us right there, nah, he wasn't no deputy then. He wasn't like this back then. And so my brother asked him again, yeah, but why didn't you shoot him when you had the chance? And this is what this man told me. He goes, I was about to, but then those 2 big dudes showed up beside him, and they had these big guns. And me and my brother are looking at each other like, what the fuck? And he goes, man, they were huge. And he describes them, what they looked like, how they were dressed. And at this point, some of his cellmates are even looking at him like, you feeling all right and everything. And when I looked at this man's eyes, I saw that fear was still there. And so according to him, he was about to shoot me, but there were these 2 huge dudes that he said were ready to blast on him if he did anything. And so he says, that's why he didn't shoot me. And so again, me and my brother are like, oh, he must be on something. And, we walk away and everything. And, the guy is still explaining things to his cellies and everything that, yeah, that deputy was a whole different beast back then and whoop. And I had changed this. He doesn't know it. And wherever you are, sir, you changed my life that night. Later, after the tour, my brother was like, I don't know why he didn't shoot you, because that dude is crazy. And this is while we were finishing the tour on my floor that I had been working at for a while. So I go and look this guy's face card up in his charges, and it turns out he is on trial now for 4 different homicides. He ended up being convicted of 2 of them, sent to state prison. But apparently he really was a killer, and my brother was just flummoxed on why he didn't shoot me. So this is about 1993 when this comes out. 2009, I am on this website called the Empath Community that I've mentioned before. And I don't mean to call this man out, but there was a guy on there named Ralph, and he was from Baltimore. And one day he hits me up on this site and says, I had a dream about you, and they wanted me to draw you a picture. And so Ralph sends me this picture, and what he sends me stunned my soul. And it's the thing that kind of jarred me awake to this experience, because I had never, since that day, discussed this situation with anybody, not even my brother. And so Ralph sends me this sketch, this picture that he's drawn, and it's exactly what this gangster had described as the 2 guys beside me, how they were dressed, how they were armed. And now I'm tripping because I'm thinking, because I didn't see shit. This gangster did. And I'm like, okay, so he's a seer? Or did my spirit guys just bust through this veil to say, hey, hold off, homie, not this dude? And so when I say protecting spirits, I'm talking about protectors that come and protect you in ways that we can't even quantify. Spirit guides don't just work through themselves, they work through other people. And so this is how tangible spirit guides operate, or they can step back and have others do it. They're just waving their hands through the water of spirit. And so these experiences that, say you're a firefighter, law enforcement, military, teacher, therapist, bartender, all these, you are learning your role for the spirit world, your soul's role on the other side. This is just a training ground. And it's that simple. This is how they've portrayed the spirit world and our experiences to me. Now, the way they communicate, it can come in a myriad of forms, via impressions, dreams, physical assistance, signs, symbols, other people. There's no limitation on how the spirit world assists, while at the same time, they assist. They do not do it for us. So no, nobody makes you do anything. Your free will in this experience is how you reflect the light into this experience and what you retrieve from this experience to take back to the other side camp. Now, remember this, everyone here is both a student and a teacher. And the quicker you realize that, the easier. It was Shakespeare who said, to be or not to be. That is the question. And that is what every teacher is here for, to teach you how to be or how not to be. And I'm not talking just the teachers that are in your face teaching you things, but the other people in your life, the examples and samples that they show. They are teachers in teaching you how to be or how not to be. And free will is your determination on how that plays out. And so the overall goal, particularly for the SEER site and other seers, is to take you from that one-dimensional experience to that 5-dimensional experience. And even though many are in the 3D, their mindset is of a one-dimensional experience. And all of us are trying to evolve into a 5-dimensional experience. I liken it to this. When I first started playing video games, I played the Atari. if you know, you know. I now have a virtual reality Quest 3 game. That is the difference of experience. You can see in the one dimension as an Atari. Or you can sail the waters of your soul stream to evolve into that 5D experience where everything has dimensions, multiple dimensions, a fuller experience. And so behind it all, 2 words: know thyself. This is how you level up. That's the only way you level up. Know thyself. And so in closing, our purpose, or one of our main purposes on earth, is compassion through our passions. And when I asked why, Spirit World said this: compassion is strongest on the earthly experience. You know, if you read about the old gods, they did not have compassion. They had passions. They did not have compassion. Our AI that we're building will not have compassion. Compassion is limited to this experience, this particular experience. That's why it's not just earth and soul vessels that come here for the experience. We have multi-dimensional souls that incarnate on this planet as humans for this experience and compassion, so that they can take this back and pour it within to the waters of other existences. That sounds crazy, right? This is what the spirit world tells me. So in continuing, when our compassion becomes the passion, leveling up happens naturally, happens quickly. But you have to defeat your ego, the big boss, the big boss, by remembering, not diminishing what you are, not annihilating yourself, but remembering just how powerful and connected we all are to the source. There is no separation except in the mind. And that has been brought and forced on us by the things that we forced on ourselves through this experience. So just level up your wall from the 1D to the 5D. That is the experience. Remember, you are the console, the controller, the game player, and the subject being played. You are all of it. In our next episode, I will take you to the Akashic Library and discuss with you the soul scrolls, our communal soul scroll and the individual soul scroll, your story. So until then, think deeply, see clearly, and journey well, my beloveds. I love you.